here yet? I wonder if he's changed.
Quorum. Quorum for men. You can be sure of the effect.
Hello there, chaps, and welcome back to the Chaps Guide, the channel where we talk about men's grooming, style, self-development, and just about anything that can help you on your journey to being the best chap that you can be. Now, we often do reviews of products to help you make a decision about what things you might wish to introduce into your rotation of fragrance or shaving or whatever. And today I'd like to share with you my experiences of this classic product of Quorum from the 1980s, a true powerhouse fragrance of that decade, that era, which still does pretty well in the modern era. And let me tell you a bit more about it, because you know I buy into the heritage and the backstory of these products, and this Quorum is no different. So Quorum is a product of Antonio Puig, or Puig, and first came into the public sort of awareness in 1981-82 when it was launched by that company. Now, Puig, for want of the full knowledge of how to pronounce it properly, is a product in the stable of Puig, which is a prestige fashion brand which is headquartered in Barcelona in Spain, and it has a number of high-end fragrances within its catalogue of other products besides Quorum, and these include one of my most favourite fragrance houses in London, that's Penhaligon's, not to mention Christian Louboutin and Paco Rabanne, another product which I use from time to time. So it's got quite a bit of heritage. There's quite a lot of underpinnings behind it with Puig, which is a company actually which turned over more than 2 billion euros last year. So it's a highly successful fashion brand, and yet it maintains old products, old classics like Quorum within its product range. Now, Quorum is most definitely a big powerhouse fragrance of the 1980s. Now, I have to say, in 1981-82, when this product was launched, I would have been 11 or 12 years of age, and I certainly never encountered it during that time. In fact, quite the opposite. I only very recently became aware of Quorum. It passed me by, and I'm very pleased that it's entered my life, because as I reached my sort of later teens, 16, 17, 18, in the later 1980s, the big powerhouse fragrance was still dominating the men's fragrance world. And I myself back then wore fragrances like Kouros by Yves Saint Laurent, and Escape by Calvin Klein, and Givenchy Gentleman, and all of these, fragrances which are still around actually and still very enjoyable to wear. But actually I never came across Quorum. Strangely, it totally passed me by. So I was delighted to become acquainted to it just about a month ago, and I've been using it in my rotation ever since. Now, it's definitely an intense woody fragrance, and it is a powerful fragrance. It is a true olfactory experience when you smell this one. And as ever, let's try the fragrance. It's important to know that this is an eau de toilette, so kind of in the middle of the potency world when it comes to the fragrances, and it comes in an atomizer. So I should just spray that on the back of my hand. It's a very fine mist atomizer actually. That back there, and let's drink in the fragrance. Whew. Well, it's definitely a product of its era, that's all I'll say. It's a very powerful and intense fragrance. And at the top end, the top notes you get, undoubtedly citrus. Citrus is the overwhelming fragrance, with certainly a lemon, and it's yeah, definitely lemon is the overwhelming one there. Bit of grapefruit, possibly a bit of bergamot as well. Very, very citrusy in nature, and it's strong. It's a strong fragrance as well, powerful, and that influences, I guess, the way that it's perceived by others. and the way that you would wear it, which is an important thing when it comes to a fragrance. You've got to be, there are fragrances, horses for courses, as they say, and fragrances for situations as well. And this one, because of its power, you have to be careful in the way that you use it. So let's have a look. In the mid notes, I would say we are definitely looking at, it dries off, cooks off to a bit of a wood. Yeah, a bit of a woody fragrance going on there. Bit of cedar, bit of sandal, the typical sort of woods. Ever such a slight hint of florality, I would say, around the edges, but still citrus and still wood being the predominant elements to the fragrance. And in the base notes, which I haven't of course come to yet, but experience will tell me, because I used it this morning after I had a shave, in the base notes we will find most definitely that leathery, tobacco-y undertone. So citrusy, woody fragrance. Citrus wood aromatic most definitely is how I would describe this. When would I wear it as regards to the time of year? Well, it is a really powerful fragrance. So as a result, I tend to reserve those sort of fragrances for the cooler months, when I think the cold weather and the dampness of the environment tends to tone down whatever you're wearing. So I like to wear stronger fragrances in the cooler parts of the year, the winters and the latter parts of the autumn, the early parts of spring. And that's what I would describe this as being, where it would sit traditionally in my rotation. Now right now it's July, and or going into August, and I probably would not wear this at this time of year because it's quite muggy, quite strong. It's perhaps not something I would want to wear in the warmer months, but that's just my opinion. What age would I think people would choose to wear this fragrance? Well, I've already alluded to it really, perhaps more towards the younger end of that sliding scale. It's a brutal fragrance, it really announces. Don't worry about the horse, it's on the team. It's a brutal fragrance and it announces its presence. So if you wear this and you're in the workplace, for instance, it might be a bit overwhelming, particularly if you're working close to other people. You do have to be careful. It definitely emanates. It's got a strong radiation. And as a result of that, as I say, younger people might be more drawn to it because you tend to prefer more powerful, brasher fragrances as a younger person, and as you get older you typically get attracted to more subtle fragrances. I would describe that being the case with this. So perhaps more to the 30 plus, I would say. Although saying that, I'm 50 years of age and I'm really enjoying this at the moment, and it's the summertime, so I'm going against some of my typical advice. But once I've got over it, got used to it, I know where it'll slot into my collection and where I'll tend to use it most. So there we go. Is it a what time of day would I wear it? Well, I would say in the evenings. It's not really a daytime thing, as I say, a bit powerful for close proximity with other people. If you get yourself trapped in an elevator with somebody wearing this, it could be quite a torturous experience, I would imagine. Whereas if you're going out in the evening and you want a strong, powerful fragrance which will, enliven your senses and make other people aware of your presence, this may be the right time for that. So time of day in the evenings perhaps, and occasions. If you're going out to a special occasion, again, perhaps a good time to wear this. As regards to its masculinity, it is a masculine fragrance. This is not something which could cross that boundary between unisex and male only. This is a powerful, strong, male-oriented fragrance which is woody, leathery and citrusy. Not at all which one would, qualities which one would expect of a female fragrance. So I would say very much a masculine fragrance in the extreme. I can't think of many more which are stronger than this that I would place as more masculine. So definitely a man smell about this fella. And what about its projection, its radiation, its sillage? Well, it's very strong. It definitely radiates out from you as if you're the epicenter of a nuclear bomb. It definitely will pass beyond the normal extremities of, say, a typical man's fragrance. Very strong, very powerful. People know you're wearing this when you're anywhere near them. When you walk past somebody in a corridor or in a public place, this will definitely leave a strong wake behind it, and people will be able to pick this up. So, as I say, wear it with caution, wear it on occasions where that will be appropriate for the situation you're going to be in. And its longevity, very long-lived. I mean, when I first started wearing this, I applied it perhaps, you know, in the afternoon, and I could still smell it on my skin the following morning if I hadn't showered in the intervening period. And on occasion, even when I have had a shower and this has been on the skin, I can still detect a trace of it, you know, where it's been sprayed. It is that powerful, that strong. So, you know, it's got excellent longevity. If you were to apply this in the morning when you were going out for your day, it's still going to be active on your skin in the afternoon, and you know, it's still going to be doing its work for you. So from that point of view, if you like long-lasting fragrances, Quorum is a product which may work for you. What about its appearance? You know, that's a big part about sometimes when people select these things. And the bottle is quite understated, I think. It doesn't tell you much about it. In fact, if anything, it's a little bland. As you can see, it's got a sort of, I don't know, I would call it a brown lid, with the accents being in a gold, and the actual bottle itself, I don't know, it's got a green glass, I would say, and yeah, 100 milliliter bottle here. Yeah, it's not particularly exciting to look at, I guess. The actual box that it came in, you know, mirrors the same colours that the bottle is finished in, and perhaps reminiscent of the era more than anything, but you know, it's the only thing which is subtle about this, I think, is the box. It doesn't really jump up and down and shout to you it's a very strong, powerful thing. Looks a little bit bland, which is not in tune with the fragrance itself, I would suggest. But, you know, that's what it is. That's how it's been. I don't think it's changed in its appearance or the way it's been marketed in its 30 or so year life expectancy. From the value point of view, from the value proposition, this is excellent value. Now, whereas some of the other fragrances I talked about, Kouros and things like that, they've retained prestige financial status. Quorum can be easily accessed. I bought this from Amazon in the UK, and it costs £13 for 100 millilitres, which is, well, bordering on the budget price really for what you get here. And actually, I think it represents quite good value for money, considering you only need a few sprays of this stuff and it's going to be active on your skin all day. So from that point of view, I think it is superb value. I'm not aware of anything else in the range, so you know, you've only got the choice of having the eau de toilette. I don't think there's anything else anyway. They may have an aftershave or an eau de cologne, but I've not encountered it, so I've only found the eau de toilette. But from the value point of view, I think it represents superb value. And you know, from what have other people said to me? Well, I wore this morning, and knowing that I was going to make this video this afternoon, I asked my wife what did she think of the fragrance, and she was quite pleased with it. She said it was quite a, at that point, it'd been on my skin for about 2 hours, so it wasn't in its absolute most vibrant phase, but she said it was quite strong, quite powerful. The zesty lemon fragrance is something which was pleasing, and yeah, I think, although she said it was quite nice, this has got the ability to polarize opinion. I am sure there will be those who say they hate it, and there will be those who say they love it. And I suggest you probably be one or the other camps. This is one of those fragrances which I think you might say, I don't really like it, you know, I'm in the middle. This is certainly will draw you in one direction or the other. I've been drawn in the I love it phase, so for me, I'm happy with that. I would say give it a couple of goes though, because when I first put it on, it was so strong, I thought, oof, do you know what? I don't know whether I'm going to get on with this, because I tend to favour perhaps less powerful fragrances. But actually, now I've worn it for a few weeks, I'm definitely coming to enjoy it a bit more. So, in summary, what are my final findings of Quorum? Well, I would say if you are a person who enjoys powerful, strong fragrances that announce your presence in a room and will the odor will hang around with you for most of the day when you have it on, people will know that you're wearing this 3, 4, 5 hours after you've applied it, this may be a product for you. If you like products which are subtle, understated in nature, don't go anywhere near this stuff, because this is not in your ballpark at all. This is the polar opposite to subtle. This is as subtle as a sledgehammer. So just be aware of that. Although that said, at the price, it may be worth giving it a try because it's modestly priced, and if you like it, you'll have a great find here because it's something that you can wear going forward at a very reasonable price, which can fulfill a useful place in your collection. I know it's going to be in my collection going forwards, and that's my opinion. So there we go. Thanks for sharing your time with me this afternoon. If you've enjoyed this review of Quorum, please give me a thumbs up. And of course, I would invite you to join us here at the Chaps Guide by clicking that subscribe button. So in the future, you won't miss any of the videos that we make on a whole range of topics. So there we go. Well, until the next time, I hope you look after yourselves and your families. You stay safe, stay well, look stylish, smell wonderfully fragrant, and we will meet again very soon. Until then, take care.